All right, hello everybody, and welcome to week number 9. That is right, week number 9. There we go. Of your 7314 class, which is your reference class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. Jace K. Austin, and what we are going to do is a quick state of the course update, and then after that state of the course update, I am going to say a few things about the LibGuide assignment that you all have coming up on. I believe it's due somewhere around April the well, it's due in mid-April. I will check the actual date in a moment. But there are going to be a bunch of LibGuide resources in the announcement. But I am still going to say a few things about the LibGuide assignment in this check-in video. But as you're going to see, there's going to be a older check-in video that is linked in this announcement as well. And that's because, quite frankly, when I started, I had students who had a lot of issues with the LibGuide assignment before doing that check-in video that particular semester that I did it. And then after I did that check-in video that semester, it seemed like people's nerves were more at ease about the LibGuide assignment. So I decided, oh, okay, well, I might as well just keep recycling that particular check-in video because my students are responding to it well. And when they're responding to it well, then that means that I am, I want that comfort. I actually want you all to be successful. So my students that semester were particularly successful. So ever since then, I've been posting up that same LibGuide video over and over again each semester, just quite frankly, because again, the students responded well to it. And that was my way of trying to facilitate student success. So there you go. Yes, so this is going to be a bit of a longer check-in video, and then there is a actual long check-in video that is among the resources that I'm going to have linked below. Please speed this up. But again, I think that if you are going into this LibGuide assignment with some uncertainties, then this will put you a little bit more at ease. So let's get into it. All right, so first things first, let's get into state of the course updates. And with the state of the course updates, the main things that I want you all to be aware of is, again, keep working on those semester-long projects. It's going to be a little while before you have another discussion board post due. That's not going to be due until April. Let's click out of these. So you will have a discussion board post that's going to be due on April the 5th. And also, I do want you all to be aware that next week is going to be a spring break, so there won't be a check-in video or anything like that next week. But you can keep doing your work. You can work on your LibGuide during spring break if you want. You can work on your semester-long project next week if you like, and all of those things. But suffice it to say, if you want to just rest during spring break, I understand that, and that is also an option that's going to be available to you, okay? So, yes. It'll pretty much be April when we come back from spring break, and you all should have turned in your Wikipedia edit assignment, by the way. That also should have been done. I'm recording this on March the 15th, so it'll be uploaded into the course in the early morning of March the 16th, which is a Monday. If you have not turned in your LibGuide by the time that this is up and you're seeing it, then please, I mean, not your LibGuide, your Wikipedia edit assignment, sorry. If you have not turned in your Wikipedia edit assignment by March the 15th, by Sunday night, you need to make arrangements to go ahead and do that to avoid any late penalties. And if there are extenuating circumstances, go ahead and reach out to me, okay? But yes, so your LibGuide is going to be due in about a month on April the 5th. April the 19th, I'm sorry. And before that, yes, you will have a discussion board post that's going to be due on April the 5th. Now, as far as the due date for your LibGuide assignment, April the 19th, for one thing, I do want you all to be aware that, yes, I've mentioned this before, but a LibGuide usually does not take a month to make. I am judging you by professional standards. So because I am judging you by professional standards, I am going to give you a month to do something that a professional would actually be expected to do within 2 to 3 days or maybe a week at the most. Usually, once you are actually in professional librarianship practice, you will have your LibGuides completed within a week, okay? But I'm giving you all an entire month so that you can learn the software applications, find your resources, all the things that you've got to do. You're going to need more than a week to just do that, of course. But just know that once you actually, again, get some experience under your belt, this will not be something that you'll typically be afforded a whole month to do, okay? No, I do also want you all to be aware again that the reason that the class is not having any discussion board posts right now is so that you can work on the semester long projects. However, I am still around, I'm still lurking, all of those things. And so I don't want you all to think that the course is just dormant, excuse me, for the next few weeks or for the rest of the class or whatever. Yes, you do only have 2 discussion board posts left, but that's because what you're going to be doing on the semester long project takes priority. However, I will continue doing check-in videos, and I am a message away if you need me. And then if you all want some optional discussion board prompts, I can definitely do that just so that you feel that your engagement with the course continues. So just let me know on those fronts, and I will adjust as you would like me to adjust, because I do want you all to feel like you're getting something out of this class. So as far as the LibGuide logins, I will be creating those throughout the week. So again, this will come into the course space on March the 16th, and I will, starting on March the 16th, I will start making the LibGuide logins for you all. And that will probably take a couple days, 2 or 3 days. So I would say that if you don't get your LibGuides login welcome email by, I would say, Friday. Yeah, Friday. Then go ahead and reach out to me and we will troubleshoot and see what's going on. There are always, and I repeat, there are always students who, excuse me here. There are always students, hold on. I wanted to get you the actual date, so that's going to be March the 20th. So yes, if you have not received the welcome email by March the 20th, please reach out to me and we'll figure out what's going on. Also, just every semester this happens, so it's not going to be your fault, but every semester, for whatever reason, there's a LibApps glitch wherein people try to sign up for LibApps, and they are basically told that the LibApps link has expired in an amount of time that it should not have expired in. Like, you could get the email and respond like within an hour, and you're supposed to have like 24 or 48 hours to respond, and it'll still say, oh, the link is expired. If that happened to you, don't worry, just reach out to me and I'll troubleshoot it and get you back and going. Probably all I'll need to do, well, usually all I need to do is set a temporary password. So if that's the case with you, again, don't worry, just reach out to me. I got your back, I got you covered. I do not want you all worrying or stressing about this class, okay? So there you go. All right, so now that I've told you all of those things, let's go ahead and just get into what a LibGuide even is, and just a few things that I'm going to explain about LibGuides in this check-in video. But again, if you watch the older check-in video from about, man, it's been about 5 years ago now, but this older check-in video, time flies, that I'm going to have linked, then you're going to get some more helpful information, and that helpful information should probably soothe your nerves so that you go into this. I want you all to enjoy it. I want you all to enjoy doing your LibGuide. So, hopefully after you look at all these resources, I know there are a lot of resources and it's going to take a while for you to look through them, but hopefully once you've looked through them, you're going to be like, oh, okay, this isn't as bad as he said. Well, it's not that bad. He said it was not that bad, and it's not that bad. And I'm going to enjoy this and have something that I can actually show potential employers. So yeah, let's get into it. First, let's show you what a LibGuide is. So if you want to know what LibGuides are, first of all, one easy thing to do is just kind of Google around. You can Google LibGuide examples and that sort of thing, or you can Google for specific LibGuides on specific subjects. You can do something like science LibGuides and stuff will pop up and that sort of thing. But anyway, I'm just going to show you one really quick. I'm going to show you this one from Duke because the one that I was really wanting to show you, I can't find at the moment. But yes, so this is a LibGuide, and you will see that this is very similar to something that you see oftentimes when you're looking at research guides on the Mizzou website, if you've looked at any of those research guides. And it is basically the same concept, yes. So what LibGuides do, again, is they allow you to come to a home page, and then information is organized by tabs and by boxes. And so this is what we call a pathfinder. It's a way to get sources through it's a way to get sources through hold on, sorry, that message was distracting and took me off my game. But yes, so it's a way to organize sources into tabs and boxes. So for instance, we've got LibGuide about primary sources, and then let's say that we wanted to go into the archives tab because we were looking for something related to archives, and then we've got boxes, and the boxes are labeled online collection guides, local archives, and then your Ask a Librarian thing right there. And so it's just a way to follow these different tabs and then go into the boxes and see what is available to you based on these tab and box organizations. So one good thing to do is just kind of go into various, just Google around and go into various LibGuides and look at them. That's the only way to find out what you do and don't like about LibGuide design. All right, so yeah, that's what you need to know about what a LibGuide is. So again, I want you all to enjoy this. So I am allowing you all to pick your own topic, just like with the Wikipedia edit assignment. I let you all pick your own topic there. Same deal is going to apply here. You can go ahead and pick your own topic, but you are going to need to make sure that your topic is something that is both that is neither too broad or too narrow, basically. So you need something where you can get enough sources. So it has to be broad enough that you can get various types of sources and get enough sources to meet the requirements that you're going to see in the rubric. But then you also want something that is narrow enough to where everything is contained and so that your logic in organizing your sources makes sense, okay? So if you are not sure if a topic is going to work, go ahead and reach out to me. It is totally fine to reach out to me when you are struggling and with some ideas and concepts and everything with this assignment. And speaking of coming to me, I also want you all to be aware that you can come to me when you are having difficulty finding certain source types. Okay, so when you go into the rubric, and actually let's go into that rubric really quick right now. So going into assignments, first of all, follow the rubric, you all. What I am looking for is largely within the rubric, okay? So if you go into the rubric, you will see that, yes, this is a long and intimidating rubric. I get that. But this rubric will guide you as far as knowing what I am looking for, okay? And so some of the things that you need to be aware of is that you need to have at least 15 sources with the appropriate proportions of authoritative and free web sources, and you'll see all that actually up here in the prompt. So I'm not going to go over that right now, but this is something that stumps a lot of students here, is that they need certain source types of each of these. So one print or electronic dictionary, one print or electronic encyclopedia, also a directory, a database, a biographical resource, and a government information resource, okay? So you need all those different types of resources, but if you are struggling there, again, you can reach out to me. That is totally fine. So if you find yourself saying, hey, I am doing Edgar Allan Poe, and I don't know what my I'm not sure what my government information resource is going to be for Edgar Allan Poe. Reach out to me, and I will work on that with you. Okay. So this is a chance to kind of interact with your instructor and that sort of thing, which that's what you pay to have an instructor to do. I'm supposed to interact with you all. So yeah, don't be shy about that. If you need help, I am your helping hand. All right. Now another nuance to this is that you are going to need to create a little tutorial video as well, and you're going to see information in the prompt on that. You're also going to see some rubric prongs related to your tutorial video. So again, please be aware of what's being asked of you there. You can use the most common things that people like to use are ScreenPal or Jing. However, if you found something else that works better for you, you do not have to use one of those programs, but definitely use something that you can actually create your video tutorial with, probably with as much ease as possible. And please do not forget that because I have to take some points off from people almost every semester. Actually, last semester, it was either the summer or no, it was the fall. Fall 2025 was the first time that I ever did not have to take points from any student for making their LibGuide video too long. Everybody was in the grace period, and there is going to be a grace period. It does say 3 minutes or less. Really, there's a grace period to where, okay, if you're at like 3 minutes and 25 seconds or something like that, I can forgive that. But I've had students who just like totally ignored that and that particular rubric prong, and they made like 7-minute tutorial videos. That you can't do, okay? But yeah, I would say that the grace period is probably about 30 seconds. So when I say less than 3 minutes, if you have something that's 3 minutes and 30 seconds, that's fine. But if it gets beyond that, then yeah, you're probably going to lose some points there. So make sure you pay attention to that rubric prong, okay? All right, so the next point that I want to make, and I know that these are, right now I'm just going almost like bullet points, point by point by point, and there's not really much flow to what I'm doing, but this is also, quite frankly, to make this video a bit shorter, because these again, this check-in video is going to be a bit on the longer side, and then you've got all these other resources to review. But one thing that I want you to be aware of, and some students don't like this because it is kind of it's a tricky situation to navigate. However, there is not really a great way around this. So I need to find a professional. Okay, this one right here. This is a particular prong that I'm going to be keeping an eye on, and this is the prong for LibGuide is professional in appearance and well organized. The thing with that is you probably have a very valid question, and you're probably thinking to yourself, hey, Dr. Jace, what does that mean? What is professional in appearance and well organized? Well, unfortunately, that's going to be a discovery process, okay? So there are going to be some unstated expectations with this LibGuide, and a lot of students don't like that, but the unstated expectations tend to be kind of common sense if you really think about it. What you're going to have to do, though, is you're going to have to go use your Googles, and you're going to have to find some LibGuides and kind of see what other people are doing, and you're going to have to kind of get a feel for, okay, what is working and what isn't working, what's a good LibGuide in my opinion, what's a bad LibGuide, and you're going to need to try to copy some of the things that you're seeing in the good LibGuide. Now, the other thing is you can also Google and do other ways of researching what any sort of guidelines as far as things that you see that reveal, okay, what makes a good LibGuide and what doesn't. If you see any web pages out there that kind of explain, okay, a good LibGuide does this, a bad LibGuide does this, you should avoid doing these things, it is perfectly fine to incorporate that knowledge also into the construction of your own LibGuide. So basically what I'm saying there is this is a discovery process, folks. So it's not something that I'm really hand feeding you. It's something that, yes, in order to construct a good LibGuide, you're going to have to review some best practices. You can review blog entries about best practices. You can review tutorials on best practices on YouTube that they're out there, and that sort of thing. But yes, what you need to go out and do is go out and discover. And that is what librarians do in general anyway, a lot of the time. So this is putting your librarian thirst for knowledge and your librarian curiosity at work. But going back to unstated expectations, which again, I did say there were going to be some unstated expectations. Unfortunately, I can't spoon feed you the expectations of this LibGuide assignment. Either you're going to have to kind of navigate and use some common sense to think, okay, this is probably a good idea, this is a bad idea. And one example of this, so this is now a stated expectation, but it used to not be a stated expectation. It used to be something that, I just kind of had to let the students figure out on their own. Don't do any color schemes that are hard to read, okay? So for instance, one unstated expectation originally, and one thing that's not in the prompt, is that yes, you will lose professional appearance points if you do something like put gold text on a bronze background, okay? That is hard to read and that sort of thing. So what you need to do as a unstated expectation, what I want you to do is to make sure that your color schemes are still easy to read, all right? So that's now kind of the stated expectation since I've said it in the LibGuide, but basically there are going to be a lot of expectations like that to where if you do something that makes the LibGuide look a little less professional or a little less organized or makes it a little less accessible, basically, then that is going to be something that I will dock points from. Now, I do want this to be clear. I want it to be clear that you can be creative and professional can vary by audience, okay? And that's something that may not be readily clear, so that's something that I want to kind of clear up right now. So you can have different target audiences. You all are going to have different target audiences. So some of you are going to have general audience. Some of you are specifically tailoring things to adults, and some of you are specifically tailoring things to elementary school students, okay? And so when you have different audiences, yes, you can have different expectations for that word professional. I use this professional word very loosely, but if you, so for instance, if you were creating a LibGuide that you were going to use to make a presentation about war in front of the UN or something like that, that would be a LibGuide that you're probably not going to have cartoons in. But if you are making a LibGuide for third graders, yes, you might have little cartoons and little, animated graphics or something like that, little drawings or something like that. So tailor it to your audience. And there is a prong for, by the way, I I guess my control F may not work here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there is also a prong for that for target audience. Yeah, so target audience defined, but also allows the target audience to determine how the source will be useful for them. So yes, I say all that to say that things are going to look different based on who your target audience is, and that also is okay. So when I say professional in appearance, that doesn't mean it has to be dry and boring and that sort of thing. And in fact, a LibGuide that is professional in appearance for third graders probably is going to be the opposite of boring. It might be really colorful. It might be really exciting and fun. So yes, don't feel like you have to stick to the rigors of, you know, refined academia and that sort of thing. You should probably know that I'm not even that type of professor. I can be pretty casual. Okay, so yeah, have fun. All right, next bullet point that I'm gonna make is this. You are actually allowed to, in addition to like doing web searches and that sort of thing to figure out how to do the best LibGuide that you can do, it is actually okay to enlist the help of and even have somebody walk you through the LibGuide if they know what they're doing. So for those of you who work at libraries, or if you have access to somebody who works at a library and they know how to do good LibGuides, you can actually learn from this person. That's okay. It's not considered cheating. So, and if they, like if you were to enlist a coworker and say, hey, my professor said that you could walk me through the process of creating a LibGuide, can you help me create a really cool LibGuide? If they say, well, I think that's cheating, you can actually show them this video and be like, nah, he said it was okay. And then they'll probably be like, oh, and then they'll do it. So here's the thing, and again, they can walk you through it. No, they cannot do it for you. That's a big difference. They cannot do the LibGuide for you, but they can absolutely help walk you through the LibGuide, okay? And here's the reason for that, because I know some of you might be thinking, well, yeah, aren't we supposed to be learning this stuff? A lot of what you learn in librarianship, and you'll see this in professional practice if you haven't already seen it in the practice that you've already done, whether it's professional or paraprofessional or whatever. But a lot of your learning in librarianship is going to come from shadowing people, okay? When you are on the reference desk, you are most likely going to shadow people for the first few weeks, maybe even the first couple of months. And so when you're shadowing, then, and you're learning by shadowing, then you know, you're still learning. It's just a matter of, are you doing it 100% on your own and just through your own searching, or are you learning by example? Are you learning by observation and then applying what you've observed? And really, within librarianship, you have to be able to observe and learn from observation in order to be successful in this field. So that's why I am totally okay with it. If you have a coworker who is willing to sit beside you and you actually put this LibGuide together, but as you're putting it together, they're sitting beside you saying, okay, now do this, now do this, now do that. Hey, you can do this feature, you can do that feature. I am perfectly fine with that, folks. Okay, you don't have to do it that way. And a lot of people in librarianship actually do prefer to learn things on their own. But if you want to learn through being walked through the process with by a coworker, that is totally fine. But again, what you cannot do is allow them to do it for you. Passing somebody else's LibGuide and work off as your own will be considered cheating. And excuse me, you will get a 0 in that case, and you will be reported for academic integrity issue. If you're not sure what does and does not count as cheating, by all means, again, reach out to me. That is perfectly fine. All right, next bullet point issue. You're probably, if you're a perfectionist, you are probably going to need to let that attitude of perfectionism go, okay? 25 out of 25, this is the LibGuide assignment has a maximum of 25 points, but rarely do students get a 25 out of 25. I would say that in a class where I have 25 students, maybe 4 or 5 of them are going to get a perfect 25. And a lot of library school students are perfectionists, so that does bug the heck out of them. But what I'm going to say is, again, you are being weighed on professional standards, and really the best way to teach this, I know this might sound crazy, but there is a method to my madness. The best way to teach this and to enforce this is to grade you according to professional standards, but then also give you the opportunity when I'm docking points. And when I dock points, I'm also going to explain why you lost the points that you lost. And having that understanding is going to help you actually correct for when you actually are doing LibGuides in professional practice. You're going to realize, oh, okay, I shouldn't have done that. And I lost points for that. I lost a few points for that, but a small amount of points for that. But now I know that that's not something that I would do in professional practice, and I'm going to course correct there. Now, for those of you who are hearing that and are saying to yourselves, oh my God, well, what if I lose a lot of points? Don't worry, you more than likely will not. Now, I'm not going to give away the secret quite yet, but once you've turned the LibGuide in, I am going to explain in a latter check-in video that there is a safeguard within the rubric that will keep you in contention for an A, even if you miss a few points here. There is a rubric safeguard that is going to prevent you from just having your grade take a total nosedive if you don't get the perfect 25 or even a 24, okay? There is a method, again, to the madness. There is a safeguard built into the LibGuide. And so, again, I don't want you all freaking out and worrying over things that you don't have to freak out and worry about. Just trust me on this. As long as you put in a good effort, you are going to get a good grade on this LibGuide, even if it's not a perfect grade. And as long as you are A level in the class right now, this is, even if you miss a few points on this LibGuide, it's not going to sink you below A level. And again, there is a safeguard, and I will explain that safeguard after you have turned in the LibGuide, but unfortunately I can't explain it right now because that might cause you all to slack off. So you'll find out after, but I want your best effort as of right now, okay? Shoot for that A, shoot for that 25 out of 25, and yeah, you will be rewarded if you do so. Okay, next bullet point. Please do not password protect the LibGuide until after you have been given a grade. Here's the thing. I don't know why, but every semester I do have students that just kind of password protect the LibGuide before the grade is even entered, and then I can't open the LibGuide. I can't access the LibGuide. I can't give you your grade. And so then I have to reach out to you, and I'm just like, hey, I can't grade this because I can't see it. And then I have to, basically it takes me off the flow. And here's the thing. And for those of you who are teachers, you probably already know this. Flow can work in a student's favor. And so you want your professor to, or your teacher to have flow. So basically what can happen is when a professor is in a grading flow, okay, I'm getting grading done. I'm reviewing, I'm in a flow, I'm getting the grading done, I'm getting the grading done efficiently. When something comes up and I am no longer able to grade something because I can't access it, that takes me off my flow. Now, instead of just going and grading and being on my flow, now I've got to be like, oh, now I've got to stop my flow and reach out to this person and tell them, hey, I can't see your LibGuide, make it accessible for me. So when professors are in their flow, a lot of times what that also means is they are being a little more lenient because they are just going and going and going. And it's becoming a bit of, I won't say a routine, but it's becoming a bit of something that they are doing efficiently. Once that efficiency is interrupted, then the professors might go back to paying more attention to detail and nuance, and that may not work out in the favor of the people who are coming behind you. So again, don't password protect it until after it is graded, because I can't see it if you do that. All right, and finally, and I think this is going to be my last bullet point here. So my last bullet point is going to be about submissions. So I always have students that kind of ask, well, it's saying that I didn't turn it in, but I turned it in. And I don't want you all freaking out. Now, I want you all to realize that Canvas and not SpringShare, Canvas and LibApps are not connected to one another, okay? So just because you've completed the assignment within LibApps, that does not mean that Canvas is going to automatically reflect that it's been completed. So if you are bothered by Canvas showing you that you have not turned in the LibGuide yet, then here's all you need to do, and this can actually help me. So I'm actually going to use this, I'm just going to take this particular one right here. But yes, what you can do is you can go to web URL as a submission type, and you'll see this in the LibApps interface. In LibApps, you can see that there's going to be a URL that's going to be tied to your particular LibGuide. And so what you can do is you can copy and paste that URL, whatever it is. Now, again, I just copied something from the web, but you can copy and paste that URL. You can paste it in there and submit assignment. And then once you have that there, then that will read to you on Canvas that you have turned something in, okay? And that way now Canvas won't be barking at you of, oh, you got a late assignment, blah, blah, blah. And that way you don't have to freak out. And that actually also does help me, because when I'm going through my interface on Canvas and I'm going and grading, if you've submitted the URL to your LibGuide and I can just pull it up, that's a lot easier than for me to have to pull it up within the folder for the class. However, if you, it is also just fine to do that. If you submit some other way, or even if you don't bother submitting within Canvas and you just complete the LibGuide itself, still, it's going to be in a folder to where I see it. So don't worry about me having an access issue to it there. I will see it one way or the other as long as it's placed in the appropriate folder. Now, with that said, if you, excuse me, if you are worried in any way that you are not going to have, sorry, not you, me. If you are worried that I'm not going to be able to access your LibGuide, don't worry about that too much, because the other thing that I want you to be aware of is that if I have any access issues, I am going to reach out to you. I'm not just going to slap a 0 down and that sort of thing. If there is anything wrong, I am going to reach out to you. So again, no need for any panicking, okay? Yes, if I am unable to access or anything major like that, I am definitely going to reach out to you and say, hey, I need this access, whether it's because you password protected it or because it didn't end up in the right folder or something like that. If it's missing, I'm going to reach out to you, and I'm not going to penalize you. We are going to work to find your LibGuide if it's somewhere where I cannot find it, okay? So yes, again, just try to have fun with this. That's the main thing that I want you all to do in my spring 2026 class, which that's what this is, and that's how you know this is a fresh check-in video. Yes, please enjoy this, have fun with it. There are too many things going on in the world right now to be upset about. Let's not make the LibGuide one of them, okay? So you're gonna do just fine, and I am here for you, okay? So with that said, I am Dr. Jace, and make this LibGuide assignment something you enjoy in the space. All right, I am a message away if you need me, and ta-ta for now, but I will see you after spring break with another check-in video, okay? By the way, we are done with sync sessions.